What's up, Pick Central, Wednesday, February 21st. Myself and Smitty, brought to you as always by DraftKings. We're excited to announce our partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings will be... Okay.
DK
Good job,
partner.
Dukes.
Yeah.
We are a DK partner. We love DraftKings. So, speaking of which, the group chat, obviously, a lot of info on there. You can interact with that, so we'll give the group chat a shout-out.
Yeah, we were talking about it yesterday, Rico. Just the fact that you can go in there, ride the guys, and not only that, give them a little bit of love, or the other way.
Yeah, it's very interactive. You can definitely get that. I've been focusing on a lot of like stats and different trends and stuff like that. I've always kind of been able to write out. I used to do the newsletters back in the day. So I like writing out the reasons for. Win total Wednesdays we do that.
Yeah, you are a very a king of alliteration. Rico's reasonings.
Yeah, I'm big on that.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
Big on that. I think the alliteration always works.
Always planning a segment. Okay, Monday. What are we doing Monday?
Yeah,
Mangled
exactly.
Mondays.
Yeah. I think he came up with that, in fairness. But I wanted to. So there was a video coming out last night. I'm sure Reegs will get to it. I saw it on the way in. Creighton smashes UConn last night, which was pretty predictable if you had to look at it. Because I thought, listen, UConn's a superpower, but they just beat Marquette by 30. They're eventually going to lose. In conference, like you don't run the table. You don't go 19-1 in that conference. You don't go 18-2. You're going to lose a couple. It wouldn't surprise me if they don't win the Big East tournament as well. I also think they might get picked off one more time. I don't know who they have left, but that's what happens. Like 17-3 in that conference, 16-4 is still like super impressive. I don't even think they have 4 losses, but
credit to Evan Marty yesterday for sniffing it out. They said it was a plug your nose and play. You could see it would plug.
I didn't even think plug your nose. I just thought Creighton was going to go get it. Now Ash
they got it.
Yeah, Ashworth came out and was on fire early, and Shireman didn't even score in the first half, but they played really well. So Hurley, who we love, is a fiery guy. He's leaving the tunnel and is like, it's the same thing he did at St. John's. He was like nodding and he looks like almost like a boxer walking through the tunnel. But he's saying to the Creighton kids, like, come down and I'm gonna kick your ass, or I'm gonna knock you out, or something like that. So that, off of the heels of the thing I blogged the other night, there was a fist fight in the Southland Conference in handshake lines. We like the rivalries and we like the fire in sports and we like how much it means to everybody, but like, where are we at? Not to get like hoity-toity, but where are we at in terms of like sportsmanship? Is this one of those things that we're okay and there's always going to be incidents of like blips on the radar? Or is this is like the boiling on the surface and we're waiting for bombs to explode?
No, I think there's a line, and I think people aren't going to cross it. Just be civilized out there.
Right.
Be civilized. I have a question for you. In D3, supporting our basketball team, who is a lot better than our football team, we were just a couple hundred people in the gym, rivalry game, just cheering and booing during the opponent's foul shooting moments. And our own athletic director came and said to stop, as that was disrespectful. Is that a line?
Youth, I think you like.
Youth?
Maybe you don't do it.
Yeah.
College?
Yeah. Pee-wee and CYO.
Yeah, like high school and college. Like, I don't get
college.
High school and
college.
college.
At the free throw line?
Yeah, that's
all. That's
you get what you signed
baby.
up for. Yeah, that's a.
Student section was banned in my high school.
What'd you guys do?
See, high school I could kind of argue for and against too, if it gets too much.
Yeah. It was. I'd say there was a line, but I don't think it was. I mean, 17-year-old me didn't think a line was crossed. I mean, I would like to see what we were saying to see like what I think nowadays, but yeah, I remember like what you were saying though. Like, yeah, I remember students.
Yeah, I think the clever is always good. 100%. Like the just typical like asshole. I don't necessarily know if that works.
No, we were shouting premium channels, just at the foul line, about to shoot. Showtime. That's it. That's all we were doing. HBO, stars. That's it. That's all we were doing.
Yeah, I think the clever like deep cuts and stuff like that.
Oh no, of course.
Well. You know what I mean?
That involves creativity, which I've never had. So
yeah, there are a lot of student sections who do that. So, you give them credit. But yeah, I mean, you've seen how they work things in, and that famous thing with the Moses when the kid dressed up as Moses, or there's like theme nights and stuff like that. I don't, but a D3 athlete, like, what do you expect?
Getting a haircut right behind the basket?
Yeah.
That's legal. That's kosher.
But like, what do you expect? Like a it's college. They're gonna be loud during free throws. That's kind of a tough sell.
Yeah, she's not the athletic director anymore.
No. It's usually how it goes.
Here's a stat. I can't really pull it up right now at the moment, but I think it's UConn has lost 21 straight games against ranked teams on the road.
No.
They are 13-3 in the NCAA tournament with 2 titles in that same time frame.
It's interesting.
UConn is now 0-21 against ranked teams on the road?
You're muted, Dukes.
I'm thinking to this year, Kansas, they lost.
Yeah.
Seton Hall was their loss. They weren't ranked, though. And then, Creighton. That's this year.
That's...
And 21's a long time.
I mean, if you start thinking about it, like, it's not that wild. I mean, no, the 21 losses is, but, like, you would think, like, oh, they're losing to, like, they lost, like, Providence at Providence. And you'd be like, that was a ranked game. That maybe what, like...
Right.
Or, like...
Well, they did have that spell last year in January. They lost, like, 5 out of 6.
Yeah.
And that's what put them in a 5. They were probably the most overseeded. I mean, no, it's hindsight's 2020, but they were the most overseeded 5, like, ever.
Yeah. I agree with that.
That was insane that they were a 5. Damn, 0-21 on the road. But then in the same time frame,
so that goes back to if you're doing that goes back to 2014 then, because if it's 2 titles.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I had this stat though. Creighton was 1-20 all time against top 3 teams, with the lone win coming February 24th, 2018 against number 3 Villanova. It would turn out to be Villanova's final loss before rolling to a national title. That's from Fanta. But so Creighton struggled against top 3 teams as well. So that was almost like that was 2 bad trends, and it was eventually one of them had a break, obviously.
And the home team conquered.
Home team conquered, as it usually goes.
And some.
But yeah, I thought Creighton looked good in that game, obviously.
Also credits to the UConn 2014 team, Kevin Ollie, failing upwards.
Head job, man.
Head honcho with the Nets.
Crazy.
Wild.
It's amazing you can get run out of the NCAA, but then land on your feet like that in the NBA.
I guess they were kind of hamstrung. I mean, what else with coaching experience was out there? Doc was already locked up, even though he might be free again in a few weeks.
Yeah, I also think the Nets, they had that little blip on the radar with the big 3, but the Nets are never going to be like a marquee landing spot, especially if the Knicks put this thing together where they start to roll and roll and roll. Like, you're always the second fiddle in town.
Do you think they regret moving to Brooklyn?
Not really, because I think you make more. I also think I think you can get in on that younger
marquee.
I bet you the people who work there like it a lot better.
Look, if
the company offices not being in fucking.
Well, yeah. If Kevin Durant and Kyrie and James Harden and everything that came through there in the last couple of years worked, it's marquee.
Yeah,
it just didn't work.
Where did they play out of? Where was the Nets arena?
It had to have been Newark, right?
Yeah, it was Prudential Center.
It was Prue, right?
And they threw out they've threw out a few years of good products. I mean,
they did. I mean, they made the finals in those couple of years. But there's a lot of nights where, like, my uncle would be like, "Yeah, I got Nets ticket," like,
of course,
an hour before the game, and you're sitting like 9 rows off the thing in the baseline. It was New Jersey.
Just watching Keith Van Horn those socks.
New Jersey.
Kittles.
New Jersey was never going to be a hotbed like that. So I think they don't hate moving to Brooklyn, but I do think. There's also that element of you're always the second fish in town, but you're eating out of a bigger pie. More fans, more access, merch, better deals, shit like that.
That's fair.
That's interesting. Yeah, the Nets.
For what it's worth, I think their arena is sick. I think Barclays is a sick basketball arena.
I've gotten vertigo at one modern arena, and that was Barclays Center.
Yeah,
I think you're just looking. I'm shocked that there aren't more like deaths and accidents there for just like drunk people falling down the stairs.
I will say the Islanders used to play there, and
that was a bad idea.
It was one of the worst hockey arenas. I remember sitting with my friends. Like, we got like $3 tickets during like winter break. We're like, this is awesome. We're gonna go watch the Islanders get drunk when we're like 17, and legitimately you couldn't see the ice. Like, it was like the obstructed view Twitter. Like, I wish that I had that that account back then, I would have sent it. You legitimately couldn't see the game.
No.
They had to move after like a season.
Yeah, credit to Frankie Borelli for saving the Islanders. Bringing it back to Long Island.
Yeah, legitimately.
Yeah, they needed that. There's certain teams that just don't fit. They don't fit in Brooklyn.
No.
Yeah, never made sense.
What Smitty, let's get to it right away. What are you on tonight?
So what we've been doing, Rico, with our hockey picks, the Ice Prince last night had the Islanders and Penguins over 5.5. Guess how many goals were scored?
7.
9.
Dude, that fucking Wild somebody was 10-7 the other day?
Yeah. That was a President's Day matinee. I can see, shit getting out of hand. But yeah, things have been flying. Tonight we're going same sort of thing, same analytical approach that I've been doing the last few years. Checking out the fantasy stats and see if the analytics line up with the sharp money. And tonight we have one play that fits that. That is Edmonton Oilers and Boston Bruins under 6.5. That's the play of the night with that. I also have the Canadians and Sabres over 6.5 and Lehigh Army over 130.5. But the play, is DK partner worthy.
I'm in on
Oilers, Bruins. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. There was a long enough pause that I was like,
yeah, it was a long enough pause. I had a brain meltdown.
It's fine. UNC Greensboro, Western Carolina over 139.5. Last time these two teams played, shot close to 45, 53s. I think they're going to sling it. I think 3 is obviously more valuable than 2. I think we're going to get enough to go. I'm also on the Snide, lost 2 in a row after a kind of like a 6-1 run, 5-1 run. I was getting it together. I thought I was running out one of Marty's streaks. But I like the over here tonight. I had a bad start last night in Akron, Toledo. It fucked me. But we like this. We like over 139.5. Not that high of a total. You can get it going. A lot of offense, a lot of threes. I like where it's at with that. You had some stuff on the Eagles.
Well, not stuff on the Eagles, just some clarification. So some radio ethics to be discussed. Craig Carton, who, as you know,
likes us, but definitely his storied past.
Yeah, and I don't have
complicated.
I don't have a problem with Craig Carton.
Stole from people.
He's a convicted felon. That's confirmed.
Yeah.
He has Philly ties. He was on WIP for a little bit, and he came out yesterday, I believe, and said something along the lines of very, very ambiguous on air that the Eagles' problems revolve around something that has to do with, quote, like man code and aren't going to be solved by anything because you just can't solve that, which just floods the rumor mill. I mean, people are saying, yo, who's fucking whose wife? Oh, what's going on? There's things going down on the side. Adam Schefter came out this morning and said he texted somebody in the organization, and the people in the organization came back and said, yeah, that shit never happened. But again, is the organization trying to protect the players, trying to protect the franchise? I don't know what's going down. But for the fact that somebody can throw out a detail that damaging while being so ambiguous about it, do you think that's fair, Rico?
No.
Okay, thank you. Because I don't know what the fuck's going on now.
No.
Now people are just throwing out rumors. And
no, I agree. And
everything's
probably not, kettle. Yeah, not.
Nobody knows what's going on.
Not
so Craig Carton, I implore you, as a man of truth and honor now, as a reformed man to society, if you know anything, come out and say it, okay? Come out and fucking say it. Just blow it up, because you cannot just throw a little sprinkle out there on the lives of the Philadelphia fan base who live and die for their fucking Philadelphia Eagles. Just throw it out there if you're going to do it.
Who do you think it was?
It could be anything. It could be actually anything, and I don't want to speculate on how little or how big. Like, the way he was describing it, I would interpret it as somebody slept with somebody's wife. That's how I would interpret it.
Is that's the thing I was waiting for you to drop. Is that the most popular sports rumor out there?
I guess.
Like, we've touched on this, I think, a bunch of different times.
Because that would be damaging
every
to the locker
time.
room.
I remember Villanova when they had a first-round exit or something like that, there was a fight there. Oh, there was a rumor with that there. Carolina last year with that.
Oh, there's a rumor every year.
Carolina back in the day with Phil Ford. Who's the coach you keep saying? That's different. Who's the other coach you said?
Quinn Snyder.
That Quinn Snyder was screwing around with somebody and somebody punched him in the face. Adoki. There's probably some smoke, like actual fire where there is smoke with that.
Old school Rod Brindamore and Eric Lindros.
Yeah, like there's just a lot of that.
Al Ripken, Kevin Costner.
But a lot of them don't.
Bedard.
Do a lot of them true? Because the Villanova thing, I don't think ever materialized. Carolina, I don't know if materialized.
Every single year, it was rumored that
every year
Wright knocked up a co-ed. Like every single year, he's got a million little Jay Wrights running around the main line right now. No, obviously that wasn't true. But sometimes, like, I think things do happen, and that they're blown up that much or kept swept under the rug that much. Like, I definitely believe that. But you cannot just throw something out there that is this heavy and either not have it substantiated or just let it run. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get that.
What are the other rumors that are out? Like, what are the other popular rumors in sports? I feel like I'm like,
there's one that's wild.
I know there's a bunch, but no, not just specific. I'm saying storyline rumors. Because it's the two teammates sleeping with each other, coach sleeping with the player, this, that, whatever. Like that I would say is number one, head and shoulders above it.
Oh, I think the Cal Ripken, Kevin Costner is.
But that's a specific rumor. You get what I'm saying? What I'm saying is every year you hear rumors or you hear like there's a storyline of something going down in sports. What is it besides obviously people sleeping with each other? Or is that just a gold medal and there's nothing else? Then there's a bunch of like.
That's just such a damaging locker room thing. That is one thing that.
I mean, guys wanted to be traded. That's a rumor to a degree.
But other like what would kill a locker room? That would kill a locker room, or like somebody stealing money off of somebody. Like that would kill a locker room.
Yep.
Like
yeah, but I don't.
Gilbert Arenas bringing in a gun didn't really kill the locker room. He just killed him.
Yeah, I just don't think any other rumors get the traction like that one. Or the headlines.
Because I think you can
killing your team like
you can overcome basically anything else.
Yeah,
in a locker room, I think. Like you really can, except those deep-seated like personal issues.
I know one that happened with the Patriots where it was Jimmy Garoppolo got traded to the 49ers because he knocked up Robert Kraft's wife, which like definitely didn't happen. But I still think that's just like, because it's the same thing as like Jay Wright. Like when you're like just a good looking player and somebody in the organization gets knocked up, like somebody's wife or something, they're just going to be like, oh, it's the good looking guy.
What percentage of
Duque, that came true.
Yeah. They ended up saying exactly what happened with that?
I think he was sleeping. He had a relationship with
you say you think there's no real like
Oh, he had Dukes. Did the Celtics former coach have a relationship with a member of the member of the staff?
Okay,
that was the reason.
I think Duque. I was like, I don't know who he's talking about, but Ime Duque.
Yeah, I probably said it wrong.
Oh, 100%. I said
1,000%.
Sue me. But what percentage of fans actually like believe it? I should say
100%.
Or how do you think?
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
That
that's the problem.
That's
because
exactly
now it's out of the bag, and now people are just going to.
Is that maybe the problem? As soon as you see like fucking JoJo Celtics beat reporter 69 on Twitter being like inside sources say
which one of your burners is that?
I'm just saying. Or the same with the Eagles. Like somebody throws something out there and then somebody says tweets or does photoshops and this and that, and then it starts to go. Like, where are we as a society that we're not being like, that is bullshit? People like right away just dismissing it, or not even talking about it instead of giving it legs.
You answered your own question. Look at society right now. Of course that's where it's at. People are going to believe anything they want.
Yeah.
I have a bad track record with these things. Like I didn't believe that Aaron Hernandez killed anybody.
There you go.
Like I hear Jay Wright fucked someone's girlfriend. I'm like, yep.
Yeah,
like I'm exactly who they're tricking. I know myself.
And it's tough to go back. Like even even if a rumor is developed and you just it spreads like wildfire and it comes out that it didn't happen, you still think it's true somewhat. sucks.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, there's the old thing with Tony and Chris, where he's like, when the doctor says, yeah, all the injuries that wouldn't have happened, like when they wheeled them in, they were good, and Chris is like, I still got to live in the world.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it is. Like once it's the old feather thing too. I've said, you cut a slit in a pillowcase and you throw the feathers. Those are all rumors. You don't know where they're gonna end up. Try to get them back.
That is a wild analogy.
What do you mean?
What?
Consider rumors slitting a pillowcase and there's feathers in it. You throw all the feathers. You can't gather them back up. Once somebody heard it, they could hear it in fucking Delaware. You dropped it in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Now you can't go get it. You know what I mean? You can't once it's out there, you can't put it back all in.
Can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Agreed.
Okay.
Well, there should be a way to do that. But,
I agree as well. Should be a way to collect the feathers.
Should be. It'd be better off. What do you got in terms of the NBA coming back tonight? Or tomorrow?
I have no bet.
It comes back tomorrow.
Yeah, it comes back tomorrow.
Damn.
I don't.
No. Oh yeah, Thursday. Shit. All right, so the Sixers host the Knicks.
There's a lot of second half props on the DK Sports Bet that are good to look at in the NBA, especially ones with a lot of value right now to make the playoffs in the second half. I mean, you have teams that are like the Mavericks who are like on the lower half right now. They're like minus 320, but you have a little bit of value still in other spots. The Warriors are now plus 120 to make the playoffs. They were plus 2-something a while ago. I think I said to take them at plus 150 before they jumped to 250, but they're back at 120, and they've been playing a lot better. The Lakers plus 105 to make the playoffs. You don't think LeBron's going to make a little last run there? I mean, plus money.
When you dissect the East, right? You got the Celtics head and shoulders above everybody.
Yeah, and it's not even close.
I think you can put the Cavs as super impressive.
Correct.
Won't lose, but one of those like the Kings last year of
correct.
Haven't been there enough. Don't really see them cutting down a title. And then you got a lot of teams with some problems in terms of the Bucks and the Sixers. We're 3 and 5. The reason I skipped 4 was because it's the Knicks. Is it crazy to say that the Knicks and the Cavs are alternating in terms of like the team playing the best or the best chances just via vibes to win the title in the East? Don't get me wrong, it's Boston like way above everybody. But you look at Cleveland again, hasn't or been there kind of the same time as the Knicks. Same amount, you know what I mean? Like growing. So if you told me one of them is going to get to a conference final, yeah, it could be the Cavs or the Knicks. I put them in that same group.
Yeah, I agree.
But the Bucks look like shit.
Yeah, like Doc Rivers.
Sixers look like shit.
Doc Rivers is throwing everybody under the bus, running them over, and then blowing the bus up himself.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers yesterday said to the owners, he came out during a press conference and said that when he was being hired from the owner, he's like, yeah, I don't know why you're doing this either. Like, wait, just take responsibility for yourself. And you saw what J.J. Redick said, and then you have Pat Bev, who I love, coming back and defending Doc Rivers because it's his guy, and Pat Bev is going to just die for whoever he's playing for, whether he actually believes it or not. And J.J. Redick's just like, hey, man, like, why is Doc making all these excuses?
Those two played together, correct? Beverly and Redick? Did they line up together in the Clippers, or they didn't?
I don't know.
Okay. I knew they were both Clippers, obviously, but I mean, Redick was on a bunch of teams.
They were also both 76ers.
Not at the same time, though. Yeah.
Good point.
I know, neither were the Clippers.
Good point. Yeah. They're both college athletes as well, too.
Yeah. It's kind of ballsy. Pat Bev just coming out and saying, "Hey, you need to respect Doc. He's the only one that gave you a chance in the NBA." It's like,
Yeah, I think Redick deserves a lot of credit. There was a point where he could have been one of those guys out of the league. And he got really into, if you read into him, he got into, I think he did it even in college. He got into Pilates, was one of the first guys I remember reading about that. Got into Pilates, make himself in better shape. He was drinking a lot in college, and then he just got into a routine. If you read, there's clips of him, too, on TikTok. He talks about the amount of shots that he takes and why he does so many makes. He gets to the arena every time, the same time. He turned himself into a robot for his playing career, and it obviously, helped him extend it. He played for a long time. I was hoping he made one last run with the Knicks. That would have been a jersey I bought in 5 seconds.
Is it a hot take to say that I think that J.J. Redick is becoming one of the most annoying people in media?
He's saying I wouldn't classify him as annoying right now. I think he's saying a lot of stuff that people don't say.
That's not it. I don't think it's like. I think like there's like the Stephen A. Smith, like hot take approach to be like getting known. Where like I think JJ Redick's becoming like like you didn't play professional basketball, so you don't have any right.
Oh
to talk
yeah,
about. Like,
yeah.
which
Yes.
I think is the most annoying. Like you can't have an opinion about a sport because you didn't play at the highest.
I
level.
didn't follow
like,
him enough to know he was doing that. I like his stuff because I think he's super informative. He's obviously got a pedigree. Like I said, he's he was a star, but he's one of those guys who almost wasn't going to make it in the league, or like after 5 years was kind of floating, maybe even less, 4 years floating, and then got himself to like a 10, 12-year career. How many years did he play? Played a long time, right?
Played over 10.
Yeah.
I respect him a shit ton, but I don't know. There's just something where he's becoming. I like new media or whatever you want to call it, but he's kind of.
He's always had that smugness to him.
I see that exactly.
All the way back to Duke.
His arrogance and his cockiness that he gets. That's like why you become a professional athlete because of your confidence. Like is kind of leaking over into the media, which some things he says, and I'm like, all right, that was very informative, and I know exactly the things you're talking about. But there's other things that he says where I'm just like, oh, dude, you're like just the worst. I've been turned off by him in the past.
But
years.
The credit I'll give every clip I've seen, it does seem like he's just kind of talking matter-of-factly. He's not doing the Max Kellerman or the Rose, who's the other idiot? Jim Rome. Where it's, like you're trying to get people's attention and you don't believe a damn thing you're saying. You just want the interaction. We've seen a million of those guys. Skip Bayless, they don't believe anything they're saying. Redick just says shit matter-of-factly, and it's well thought out.
I think that might be my issue. Not that he's not saying a hot take. Is that like when you're saying something like it's like this is my opinion is a fact. Like when you can back it up, it's like it's nice. But like when you're almost
like his thing on the games starting late the other night. Like I didn't. He's got a point.
Yeah.
Like that's accurate. He wants his kids to watch the game. He already said whatever. The only thing he said was a school night. Like it's President's Day. He probably could have let him stay up. But
is President's Day always on a Monday?
Yes. This year, leap years. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like he says it matter of fact. That's why I liked Cowherd back in the day, because I thought he did a good job of like equating the housing market to wide receiver free agency. Then I think he got off the rails, and there's a lot of things that he doesn't even fucking know. Like it's stuff you're like talking about the NFL, and
he's a hot take artist now.
Yeah,
that's all it is. He plays the hits. But back to the East and value. Yes, you have the Celtics above and beyond everybody else. They have a 6-game lead over the Cavs and 8.5-game lead over the Bucks. And the Bucks are going to, let's be honest, they're going to be fine.
Right.
They're going to win it all. I don't think so because of Doc, but like they have the talent that they're going to be right there. Then the Knicks and the Sixers for future bets. I mean, it obviously all comes down to Embiid, but they have value if Embiid is able to come back.
Agreed.
They just do. Now, is he going to come back in full shape? Of course not, which is going to hurt the value, but they do. And teams to look out for, who I would be...
Pacers.
Yep. And the Heat are always going to be there.
The Heat, right. But the Heat, so that's the question I asked.
Always going to be there.
How hard is it to overcome as a 7?
They did it the last 2 years, man.
Yeah.
They did it the last 2 years. And if they are the thorn in the Celtics side and just chipping at their dick every single year,
makes sense.
You have to keep an eye on them as a 7 seed, especially since they just got Terry Rozier, who can be a killer in the playoffs.
The one that's interesting, though, the way that lines up, the Pacers should almost hope they're the 6. I forget if the seeds go, but if they get it's 3-6. No, there's no division, sorry. So the Pacers would get the Bucks. The Pacers hate the Bucks.
Oh yeah,
as well. And if the Bucks are like falling apart,
they do well against.
Yeah, if the Bucks are falling apart, don't be surprised if the Pacers are sitting there in the conference semis after that win. And then you got Orlando is unproven, but whatever. The Bulls, Hawks are always just in that mix.
Everybody else is whatever. But if you want teams that might have value, especially in the Eastern Conference Finals, if not beating the Celtics, I mean, the Heat are always going to be there. They just are.
Yeah.
You want to know why? You want to know why? 2 reasons. Jimmy Butler and Spoelstra. That's it.
Did you guys see that Spoelstra thing?
No, what happened with him?
He got divorced like a month ago.
Yeah.
and I don't want to know. Jack Mack reported on it. I don't know if it was a definite fact, but he waited till after the divorce was finalized to sign his $100 million contract.
Well, no, he didn't wait.
The organization.
Pat Riley gave him a little bit of hey, let's wait a month here. Let's wait a month. That's just guys being dudes, man.
That's guys, yeah.
That's just guys being dudes.
The kid next to me at the Jets one time got a phone call, and it's like, "Hey, Adam, you left a voicemail on my wife's number. It strictly says on there, do not call my wife." Now she's asking questions. Jet season tickets. How much? Where are they? What's going on? Not good. Not good. And he hangs up the phone. It was fucking the best fucking voicemail ever. Like, it was so fucking, the guy probably walked right out of like Bensonhurst Avenue. It was fucking unbelievable. And he's just like, she's asking how much? Not good. It strictly says on there, don't call my wife. Don't call my house. It says it. The guy is.
If it's there, why? It's there for a reason.
Yeah, well, that organization's got its problems head to toe. Whatever. The West, on the flip side of the West, Timberwolves 1, Oklahoma City 2, Clippers 3. I'm going to say that again. We have the West, where it's the Timberwolves 1, Oklahoma City 2, and the Clippers 3. They're great. They're playing unbelievable. And the Clippers have the star power more than the other two, like, head to toe, in terms of names, I would say, or whatever. But do you buy these three as one of these three cutting down the Nets?
No, I don't. I don't. I think longevity purposes, I think the Thunder could be a powerhouse, like, for years to come. But year one, especially in the NBA, right, we're rising up like they are. Like, it's going to be very, very difficult in the playoffs against, like, the Blue Bloods of the Warriors and the Lakers and even, like, the Suns and Nuggets to overcome that. Like, it's going to be very, very tough. Can they do it? Yeah, absolutely. They're playing their balls off, and they're young and talented, but it's going to be extremely difficult. I'm shocked the Timberwolves are having this mainstay at the top. Anthony Edwards is absolutely unbelievable. Cat's an all-star this year. Can they win it all? We said the Nuggets couldn't last year. Like, we were very, very defiant that the Nuggets couldn't.
Yeah, is that
Babyface Ev had to come out at the end? So,
is that changing the narrative in the NBA, where it seemed like we don't buy them until they actually do it?
100%.
Like, it was like, oh, the Bucks, like, not, never were successful to a degree. Not a lot of history.
But it was
yes, they had a star, but then the Bucks bucked the trend.
Yeah, but it was the Bucks' time. And the problem with the Nuggets, at least,
because I always felt like the Super Bowl was easier to get a run, and somebody comes out of nowhere and win a Super Bowl.
Of course.
I felt like baseball as well. I mean, you saw the Diamondbacks playing for a World Series. Like, I feel like you can come out of nowhere and win that title. Hockey for sure, and hockey's a fucking crapshoot. But basketball, it always did feel like, hey, it's going to be one of these.
Yeah, the problem with the Nuggets historically is I didn't think that Jokic would be enough for them to win a championship. I thought that their bench not their bench, that their supporting cast of Murray and everybody else wasn't strong enough to carry Jokic to a championship, and they played their fucking nuts off last playoffs, and they were, and good for them. But I don't know. I really, really don't know. If I'm looking for future value, like, do you look all the way down to the Lakers and Warriors? Like, can you discount one of those two teams not winning the championship?
Right.
They're the 9.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely got to put them in the thing. So how does it work with the play-in again? So 7 plays 10. And that winner...
No, 7 plays 8. The winner gets a 7.
Got it.
And the 8 plays the winner of the 9.
9, 10. So the highest that the Warriors could get right now is 8. So that means the Warriors would open with the Timberwolves.
But they're also only...
Would open with the Timberwolves and then have the semis against the fucking Nuggets.
Yeah.
That's semis. That's to get to the conference final where you'd potentially face Oklahoma City, L.A., the Pelicans, or the Mavs. Let's say the way that's going.
But they've done it.
That's a hell of a run.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Would you count them out?
No.
Ever?
No, I wouldn't. But I don't know. I wonder if you almost if you set yourself behind the 8 ball so many times, can
I
you
agree.
still put it in the pocket?
I agree. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough world we live in, Rico Bosco.
What would be the most fascinating final in terms of like that people would hate, but in terms of like crowning a new champion or a star of two teams that are kind of off the grid?
Thunder Pacers.
Thunder Pacers would set the world on fire.
That'd be great. I'd love it.
That would set the world on fire.
I think the Timberwolves are definitely there.
Yeah, Timberwolves.
I think the Pacers because of Halliburton.
Mhm.
I'd say the Timberwolves because of Anthony Edward. Like I think those are two people that I'd say casual NBA fans.
Yeah,
would like.
Timberwolves Cavs would be another one.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't see the Cavs there.
I think
I almost think
dude, Donovan Mitchell's so good.
You think Donovan Mitchell people are begging to crown?
No, but I mean he's kind of earning it. They just win. They play so well.
I'm not. No, that's not. That, I don't think that. Maybe that's not how I'm looking at it. Then I think I'm looking at it more from like who's like the next like, I guess like a Giannis, like someone to like steal a ring in the middle of like.
Out of the East.
Yeah.
I mean, how
well, it's still the Celtics.
Halliburton.
It'd still be the Celtics.
Yeah, the Celtics
to a degree. You
won.
can't. The Celtics aren't champions.
Yeah,
I mean, I would love to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess like it's weird though with the Celtics because like as much as like I'm nobody knows better that they haven't won more than me, but like it is like Tatum has gotten his flowers, Jaylen Brown gets his flowers, like somebody like an Anthony Edward or like Tyrese Halliburton, like right now year one when they're like this is like their superstar first year, like when they get that championship, I think that's cooler now.
But that's also
Like
interesting,
casual fan.
Dukes, as a Celtics fan. I wish fucking Clemmer was here to answer his question. Why do you guys act like you got flowers? You haven't won one since 2008.
I was gonna say,
I mean, I'm not saying that we got flowers. Like
You
I think
just
it's
said Tatum and
did
Brown
just
just
say
got flowers.
I'm not. People give Tatum flowers.
Yeah,
He's
why?
He's in MVP talks. Why does Embiid get flowers?
Did you hear what Draymond?
Because
Green
he's
said?
an MVP.
Yeah, so Tatum's in the discussion for the past like 3 years. That's when you get flowers.
But Embiid hasn't won a championship, so he doesn't deserve it. Like,
if you're in MVP
as much-
talks, you get your flowers. Like I'm not saying that. Like I don't.
no, then flowers should
I'm
be
not.
canceled.
I'm not a fucking florist. I don't just hand out flowers to everybody. And, like this is just like NBA talk. Like people give people flowers. Like I can't just control who gets flowers and who doesn't.
Just Dukes, the dude from the town.
Yeah,
it's designated.
Yeah, like I don't want
Hits
to. I don't want to be the guy that
across
gets
Mommy
designated
was
to hand
a-
out flowers.
I was in love with a doper.
I think it was Draymond that said Tatum can never win MVP until he wins a title, just because of all the success he's had early in his career. Like he's had a super team since he's been drafted.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, but didn't they?
Celtics fans think they
hold
won
on.
multiple championships.
Super team. Correct me if I'm wrong. They drafted Tatum and they drafted Brown.
Okay, but like they've had a very good team, is what.
But
I'm saying.
that you don't get penalized for a super team when you did the job of drafting those guys.
I'll agree with that.
So
he's had stacked rosters.
and the Warriors had a title before. They have 2 titles? No, they had 1 title before Durant.
One title before KD.
Yeah.
So like they don't get penalized with that. Now it's hard to say that because they did then build the super team, but.
You're right, Rico. You are.
I don't think the Celtics should get a lot of slack. I don't think you should get slack when you showed up there. By the same rationale, then should Jordan get hurt because they drafted him and Scotty? Like, think about what we're saying.
You can't. That's totally different.
No,
argument.
What are you
Rico, you're
talking
right.
about? They drafted 2 unbelievable guys.
No,
So you can't.
nobody is saying Michael Jordan shouldn't get flowers.
Agreed.
You know what?
But I'm
As a
trying to
florist,
prove a
I'll take
point
him.
that's how yes. In this world of free agency, you can change a team like the Clippers in 5 seconds and go get a new engine and new hood and new wheels, and it looks like a fucking Cadillac. You could also build it from the ground up like the Warriors did for a little while, like the Celtics are doing for a little while, like the Knicks are doing for a little while. There's different ways to do that. And the Bulls did that. They got pieces at the end, but he won his titles because they drafted 2 stars.
Okay, and who is the only team out of all of those squads that you mentioned that doesn't have a title?
Celtics.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Win a title and it solves everything.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah.
Insinuating Michael
they
Jordan
will.
should get flowers.
He shouldn't sometimes. He shouldn't sometimes.
I think they'll win it this year.
Celtics? Yeah. They'd be my pick right now.
The favorites. You think the favorites?
Put that
are gonna
one
win?
put that one right out there. All All right, close it back out. I got UNC, Greensboro, and Western Carolina over 139.5. Give us your hockey plays.
Edmonton and Boston Bruins under 5.5 or under 6.5, and the other game I said over 6.5. Canadians game over 6.5.
I have a hypothetical for you.
Sure.
College basketball, neutral floor right now. Houston or UConn? Who do you have?
UConn by a very small amount. I think that'd be a dream final. I think for a while I was talking myself into UConn Purdue. I think it's Houston UConn because that would be because Sampson's fiery dude too. That would be a fucking fist fight.
Oh, that would be
like a fist fight of a game. I think a lot of people might not love it. It might be 55-54 in a final, but that is something. Have you watched Houston?
Yeah, they're scrappy.
Yeah, like the defensive. Again, it's I talked about it with Dukes, and like I text Dukes because I'm a fucking nerd. But like the blitzing the ball and how they cause turnovers, and then how people counteract with that. Like Sam, and this again, I've said it 100 times. It seems like you got to get to the party a little bit. You got to like be on the guest list. Then you got to make a move at the party. Then people got to notice you. Then you got to have a moment, and then you get like you win the party. You're the king of the dance. And it sure seems like Houston is building that way. 2019 or 2018 lost to the eventual runner-up. 2018 lost to the eventual runner-up in Michigan in the second round on a buzzer beater. I know none of these kids play for this team, but this is all Sampson's framework.
No, they're the type of team that's the same players every year.
What'd they do in 2019? Just pull up their history.
Yeah.
But 2020, I think they were very good, and then that year got canceled.
They're always top 30.
2021... no, I'm sorry. Yeah, 2021 Final Four, 2022 Sweet 16,
2019,
2023 Elite 8. Go up and click Sampson, and you get an easier. There you go.
It's hard to pull up right now.
It's all right. Just read it off. 2023 was what? Elite 8.
Sweet 16.
Sweet 16 to Miami. I apologize. 2022 was what?
Elite 8.
Elite 8.
2021 was Final Four.
Final Four.
2020 they would have been in a 7 seed, but they were 14th in Ken.
All right, so a little bit down.
But they were 14th in Ken.
Yeah, all right.
They're like because of AAC. Yeah.
And then 2018 was that second round game, correct?
Yeah. And then
So like Hurley never made it to the second weekend before he won. So like he was at the party, and they obviously had a super team last year, whatever. But yeah, I think it's Houston's one of the best teams in the country.
I really like,
without a doubt.
I like your analysis you said a couple of weeks ago on the show about how Houston's gameplay flow during March Madness will be accentuated because of TV timeouts and because of breaks. They'll be able to put out on the courts for like minute spurts.
Yeah.
And just attack you. Just fucking robot you.
It's like boxing. Yeah.
Exactly. And just wear you down.
You also the first half total of whoever the fuck they're playing. Yeah, you could put it at 16.
Yeah.
Like a 16, they're never going to be able to see. What's even worse is if a team comes in with a slow tempo as well. It's like, hold on. Like, if you played run and gun like Citadel, or VMI, and you want to shoot 1,000,000 threes, you could actually tell me you could fuck up Houston, and then now they're in a track meet that they didn't want to be in.
Correct.
If you come in and you try to play slow, that's like, all right, yeah, I'm going to enter a Miss America contest. I won, a local town in Idaho. And it's like, okay, who you stand next to? Cindy Crawford. Like, what you do good, she does better, and you ain't gonna fucking win.
Now we're gonna need to find like a famous model from Idaho.
I'm just saying.
Hey, where's Sydney Sweeney from?
I'm just saying. You can't. You can't. What they do better than anybody. So you can't match that.
No, and I like that rationale that you had because it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if you get fresh legs out there just pestering, and it's the best defensive team in the league.
Maybe of all time.
Cause problem.
I look at it as
they might be the best defensive team of all time.
I look at it as like boxing.
They might be better than the '85 Bears.
Well, the numbers, efficiency-wise, match up. I think we're on historic pace. Houston's like a top 10 defense of all time since they've been charting this thing, and Bama and Purdue's offenses are out of control.
Well, yeah, me and you looked up the
metric-wise,
like the metrics.
Yeah,
like, the best. It's like kind of like when you look at like the NBA and like the Warriors, and you saw what they did in like their historic what year? 2015, 2016. It's like now that offense would be like the 16th
Exactly.
best in the NBA this year.
Everybody just gets faster. Agreed. So
Jenks is over there. He's already having what would be the word? Just I guess anxiety, pre-PTSD over the Mets season.
yeah, we're in trouble.
Weird.
But good times tomorrow. Good times tomorrow.
Big
No
guy.
Mets. Me and Frank will
what
be.
happened to the Mets?
They're a mess.
What do you mean? What happened to the Mets? What doesn't
Nothing.
happen to the
They
Mets?
didn't do anything.
Exactly.
Refused to do
How
anything.
about Frank at the PLL? That was hilarious.
Yeah, I'm going to be courtside with him tomorrow. Arkansas State.
You guys leaving tomorrow?
Leaving tomorrow.
Tomorrow night
Excited.
game?
What?
Tomorrow
Huge
night
game. ESPNU got the bump up.
Really? 'Cause you
Sitting
guys are going?
courtside. Yeah.
You're gonna go
Working the
on TV?
refs. Arkansas State beat Troy on the road, so this is a revenge spot for them. It's a tough spot. There's Frank they were going to have Frank do I think they call it like the combo hot dog in the arena. And I was kind of warned. I'm like, just to let you know, he don't give a hometown discount. So, like, just make sure it's good. That's all I got to say. But we're going on a walk. I think there's a couple 100 kids coming. Should be a good time.
That's all. So it's going to be like Rocky 2.
Yeah, me and Frank, we like the ball. We've been to a couple different things together. We like the ball. I got to go to Seton Hall with him as well.
King of Seton Hall.
King of Seton Hall.
You got any stinkers on the board tonight that stand out to you guys?
Yeah,
Just
well,
like
no,
like
not
something to
stinkers,
like
but
a stinker that stands out.
I think
stay away from.
my thought process was stinker teams, or teams who might have just packed it in. I don't want to do it because Marty does it all the time, but I do think Miami is in a bad spot. Now, Duke goes to Miami and struggles every single time, but I would lay the 6.5. I don't love it enough to play it, but I like Duke minus the 6.5. I also think St. John's may be like, you know what? Fuck this old fucking Italian man calling us soft and shit like that. Maybe Georgetown sticks around as a hold your nose plus 9.5.
That's the weirdest game on the board for me.
Agreed. And then the other really crazy one is I like Nebraska minus the 1.5 going to Indiana. I think Indiana might be like completely out of sorts. And you watch the bottom drop out and they lose 5 out of 6 the next, Nebraska fighting for a tournament. Tominga's a fiery guy. I like Hoiberg. But those are all like really tough spreads. And those are the 3 I'd play. Anything else stick out to you? Hockey-wise? Stinky? Nothing?
No. All right. It's a week night.
I like Penn State tonight, plus 7.5 at home.
Against Illinois?
Against Illinois, yeah.
We
Dayton's minus 2.5 on the road against George Mason. I think that's a little stinky. I'm obviously going to take them. Then there was one more.
Can't wait for baseball.
I got to get eyes on Illinois a little bit now with Shannon being back. Are they meshed? Like it's like nothing happened?
I tend to agree with you. Like I know what they were like before, and I thought they were national championship good, and I've kind of just like put on my blinders and been like, you know what it is for me, Coleman Hawkins started getting more shine when Terrence Shannon was out, and I was watching them, and it reminded me how much I fucking hate Coleman Hawkins. So now it's like I put on like my I just don't trust them purely based off one man.
Yeah.
I hate that guy more than like anything in the world. I think he like thinks that he's fucking like Kevin Durant, but he's like. I legitimately think he's one of the worst basketball players I've ever seen, but he's like an All-American.
Yeah.
I hate that guy.
Yeah. So, all right, I'm out tomorrow and Friday. Crew will be back tomorrow. That is Pick Central.